This episode is sponsored by the Soul of Business Experience, a leadership community with curated resources for entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and anyone intent on developing their leadership impact and supercharging their careers. For more information, check the podcast webpage or show notes. Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Soul of Business with Blaine Bartlett. I am your host, Blaine Bartlett. I'm going to just kind of laugh a little bit here. I was talking to my guest prior to just going live with this, and the topic of, or the phrase, "it's too good to be true." This is too good to be true kind of came up. And I think thematically that does describe the work that she does. And and it's also, I think, fairly descriptive of the initial response that people have when she presents what they do to them as an opportunity to do some things a little bit different than what they're used to. And I'm very much speaking here in a philanthropic domain, and as it applies specifically to fundraising. My guest today is Mary Hagen, and she's the CEO of an organization called Colossal, and it's C-O-1-L, C-O-L-O-S-S-A-L, colossal.org. And I'm going to invite you to, if you've got any kind of philanthropic bent, or if you are working with an organization that relies in large part on fundraising, you're going to want to listen to this very closely, and you're going to want to go to colossal.org. I can guarantee that. I first met Mary when we had her on an office hours segment that I do with my partner, David Meltzer. And I was absolutely struck by what she was talking about and what she was bringing to the table. And literally, I mean, the thought that went through my mind was, this is too good to be true. It's kind of like, okay, let's. So when she brought it up in the green room before we started here, I went, okay, I'm going to lead with that. We can't not go there. So Mary, welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Blaine.
Yeah. The idea of fundraising, I mean, my wife, Cynthia Kersey, founded and is the CEO of the Unstoppable Foundation, and they have raised millions and millions and millions of dollars over the course of their life cycle, and they're still operating quite vigorously here. But the fundraising piece, and it's small donations, individual donors, contributing because it makes a difference, and impact is really what we're looking at. And so, the metrics around Charity Navigator and all of the other things that, are used to say, is this a valid charity or not? Is this a valid organization that I can contribute to? All come into play. I want to just start with these not-for-profits and the organizations that are 501c3s, they have missions typically. And for me, the language I use, particularly in a corporate for-profit environment, is the soul of the business. What is that founding spirit that gave birth to this organization? And nonprofits, for the most part, stay connected to that relatively well, as opposed to for-profit organizations, particularly in the public sector. When you hear the term "the soul of business," what does that bring up for you?
Oh, it's such a beautiful question. And it's thought-provoking and even emotion-provoking for me. To me, business has always been something, for me personally, that I want to have an impact with. I'm an entrepreneur to the core, a serial entrepreneur, if you will. And every business that I've ever started or even been a part of, I've always tried to infuse some sort of social responsibility. And to me, that becomes the soul of business. It's the purpose behind the business above and beyond oneself and profit, right? As a business owner, you do have to make money. It's what makes the world go round and makes you able to continue to contribute in any meaningful way that you are. And so while profit is certainly top of mind and important for business, to me, it's why are you doing this above and beyond that? And that's what that question inspires for me.
Well, that notion of above and beyond. I mean, just literally your background, and I'm just going to kind of land a couple of bona fides here. You've developed over 200 brands. You've scaled teams to over 100 plus in terms of headcount FTEs. You've championed partnerships that span Fortune 500 companies, national charities, publishing giants, and celebrities. Now, I took that off of the promotional information your admin sent me, but
Yeah, it was
yeah,
very
the
good.
idea, yeah, you've raised over $220 million for charity, and you've done it in a very unique fashion. And that's what I was intrigued by. That's what I'd like to actually spend probably most of the rest of our time together talking about. Um, First, I guess I just start with, where did the idea come from?
What a fun question. So I've been the CEO at Colossal. We founded the Colossal brand in 2022, and I've been the CEO since. But the lesser known fact is that the other founders and I have been doing this, running competitions like what we do at Colossal, the dollar per vote model, raising money for some sort of cause since 2015. But back then, it was it was a hobby for us. You know, we had no idea it would grow into what it is today. Back then, of the three of us, one of them is in publishing, the other's in technology, and I'm me, right? I'm the dog and pony show, is what I like to say. And the the publisher says to the technologist, "Do you think you could build a platform for people to like cast votes, you know, to compete in a tournament style thing?" You know, and the guy says, "Yeah, I could probably build something like that." And they bring me in and they say, "Do you think people would compete to be on the cover of this magazine?" And I said, I mean, sure, probably. You know, it's very Miss America esque. Sure, like pageants exist. Yeah, I could see it. Then it was, do we think people would support their favorite competitor by paying dollars per vote to get them to win this prize? And I said, not a chance. Who would do that? So here we are. Here we are 11 years later almost, and it turns out they will. And in a really fun community building way that we really didn't anticipate. So back then it was started with this sort of, do we think this will work? And then it quickly grew into, hey, people really come together to do this. And in this really interesting fashion, while they're competing against one another to win the prize, they're also kind of connecting and activating their communities to support this cause. Then we started saying, I think maybe there's something powerful here. And so we really leaned into that community building, fundraising aspect of the business, and we saw a lot of scale.
You know, that idea. I mean, I'm going to come back to the notion of the soul of the business here. Yeah, in the just generically here, the contests, the initiatives that you actually work with. In what way do you find it either easy or difficult to get connected to that, that soul of the particular organization that you're working with? Yeah, kind of how does that work? Because the community is a large part of that. I understand, but yeah, is it front and center? Is it back? Just kind of informing things, or how does that work?
Front and center, front and center. For what we're doing, our competitions are viral. There's hundreds of thousands of people from across the country who participate in what we do every day. And we're raising millions of dollars for charity. Keeping those folks who are the engine behind the fundraising engaged and actively participating and caring means that that cause needs to be front and center, and we remind them of the important work that we're all doing together all the way throughout their journey. So I would say that the soul of, not only the soul of Colossal, which is generally just to make a big impact. We're just here to do good stuff. Like whatever that looks like and whatever that is, the flavor of the day, if it makes the world a better place, we're going to go for it. And so that's just what we do at our core. It's very simple. Coupling that with the soul of the cause that we're raising money for, be that James Beard Foundation or Baby to Baby or Oceana or whomever it is highly important and front and center and critical for the campaign's success.
The campaign. So these are bespoke initiatives.
Bespoke. Indeed.
Bespoke. Yeah, kind of tailored to unique, and
Yep.
this is where the uniqueness comes in. Tailored uniquely for what it is that the foundation or the charity or the organization is actually looking to fulfill. What are some examples? And then the secondary question on that would be, when you contract with an organization, how do you actually develop what that campaign could be. So the front end, what are some examples of campaigns that have been successful and unique and different? And then how do we get there?
Man, these are fun. Some personal favorites. America's favorite pet. You can't help but love it. It's this nationwide search for America's favorite cat and dog. There are two champions, a cat and a dog. Um, I'm a fur mom, so it's a personal favorite. I'm a little close to it, and um, my dog doesn't compete. It would be a slight conflict, and I always say everyone already knows that she's America's favorite. So
There you go. You haven't met ours, but
yeah, yeah, that's everyone's answer. So it's a really heartwarming, family friendly kind of a campaign. People who just love animals participate. It raises money for Paws. We've raised well over $30 million for them to date, and they've been a partner of ours for 7 years, even predating the Colossal umbrella. And that campaign is a phenomenal example of the community coming together for something they care about, not us saying, win this thing and it goes to this cause that's not relevant to you. It's very connected. Um, on the other side of that coin, we run America's Favorite Chef with James Beard Foundation. The champion chef is featured in Taste of Home magazine with trusted media brands. Fantastic campaign. We've raised well over 20 million for James Beard over the years, and another powerful opportunity. Taking then another step to the other extreme is Youth Athlete of the Year. Incredible campaign. It was this last year that we put the winner in an advertorial that we published in Sports Illustrated. They take home $25,000 cash. This is really an opportunity for a young athlete to springboard their potential career long term. And that campaign raised money for Why Not You Foundation and V Foundation,
both.
and the grant was split between the two. That one campaign raised over $20 million, split between the two charities.
My
So
God.
some of them become quite powerful, and it's really exciting to see. Um, what was the second part of this question?
How do you
The
determine?
ideation.
Yeah, the ideation piece. Yeah. How do you come up with these ideas?
Blaine, it's a company full of marketers. It's amazing what the team comes up with. We actually do, this is my favorite day of the month. We actually do a monthly day. The owners and I sit in the conference room, and anyone at the company can come and pitch us a competition idea, like Shark Tank. We call it Fish Tank, so it's a little less intimidating. But they come in, they can
The guppy
pitch.
tank.
Exactly, exactly. They can come. We even play walk-up music and try to, it's fun. But they'll come in, anyone at the company can come in and pitch an idea for the next competition. And they get sorted through, and they go to the business development team and go through market research, et cetera, to see what could potentially be viable. With those opportunities that we deem as potentially viable in the marketplace, we go through our Rolodex of charities or just go into Charity Navigator and are looking for who have we not raised money for yet that this would make a lot of sense for. And so through that mechanism of just creativity from inside the company, we're coming up with new ideas, and then we're bringing those to a relevant charity.
Okay.
Um, on the
Yep.
other side of that
Yeah.
coin, ideas also come in through the grapevine. We work with hundreds of partners, be that brands, celebrities, other charities, obviously, and they have ideas and their teams have ideas. Or because of a brand that they're associated with or a celebrity that they work with already, an idea might be sparked that just makes sense, and we'll shape an idea around that opportunity and pitch that to them. So it's very collaborative, both internally and with our partners.
I love that. And it's very on brand too.
Yeah,
Community and that sort of a thing.
it very
Um, I mean, I'll dive into the weeds here just a little bit. So you land on an idea. You've got an idea for a campaign. Your clients have said, this sounds like it'll be interesting to do. What's the nuts and bolts piece of that? How does that actually get implemented? Because a lot of these organizations are small enough that they don't have a big staff to be able to run something that is going to be
the
a pretty good
scale.
load.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you for pointing that out. So this actually goes all the way back even to the founding story, in that we learned as we were all, none of us came out of philanthropy directly. All of us have are philanthropic in our own way, and we're always trying to give back and do good things in the world, but we were not coming out of the charity space. So we had to learn a lot to become who we are today as Colossal. So back during the founding days, we recognized quickly that one, it's very challenging to give money away as a business.
You know,
It's very hard to do.
hard to do.
It's very highly scrutinized, and to be fair, as it should be and needs to be, it's highly regulated, but makes it very challenging to be the good guy. And so we thought, okay, let's learn this and figure out how can you cut through the red tape, do this right, and be able to make a big impact, because this is not. It's very hard to get through all that red tape and regulation to make any kind of meaningful work for the charities. So we learned all of that. And then the other thing we realized is that in fundraising, a lot of the charity partners that we work with, and even the big guys and the little guys, they spend a good significant amount of time raising money. It's time consuming. It's also amazingly expensive to raise money, right? And we thought that's just backwards, right? You're a charity, you're trying to do good things in the world, but half your staff or whatever it is has to spend all of their time just getting people to fund the good in the world. Imagine how much bigger your impact could be as an organization if the money just happened. Huh? And of course, this is where we get a lot of those, that sounds too good to be true nods. But this is what we're founded on. We wanted to be able to take the whole lift and say, Colossal's responsibility is to raise the money so that y'all can do the good thing you're doing in the world and more of it. So leave it to us. We handle all of the national registrations for compliance and legal purposes. Um, we handle the marketing, we handle the concept development, we handle the brand partnerships, we pay for the advertising. The company fully curates and runs the competition on behalf of a charity, and then the funds are granted to the charity at the end. And now, years into it, now we've got a line of charities out the door ready to do this with us. But back in the day, there was a lot of feedback that was like, "Out, have you done this before?" you know? So that's really what we've been founded on. So the nuts and bolts of that are, um, it's a whole business. I mean,
Yeah.
think of almost every competition that we run, even though it's become, thankfully, somewhat formulaic. We know what's going to work. We know how to advertise it. We know how to support it, etc. And we do all those things very well. And that's a well-oiled machine now. But every competition is almost its own little business.
Mm-hmm.
It gets its own brand. It has its own set of partners. It has its own designated support team. It has its own marketing team. All of those folks work for Colossal, but it's very curated to every single competition. And so it's everything you would imagine to run any other business every time we run one. This year we'll run 26.
26. Wow.
It's like running 26 little
Little
businesses.
businesses. Boy, I mean, I think I am appropriately impressed here.
Thank you.
I honestly, Mary, I didn't know it was that large or that complex on the back. The back office piece of that. When I asked that question, that is significant and substantial. The idea of again, we were talking a little bit in the quote unquote green room before we went live. The idea of having fun. I mean, that's just the little bit that I've gotten to know you over the 3 or 4 meetings that we've had. I've got a hunch that fun is a pretty integral part of your DNA, and I mean the fact that you want to go fly fishing in this little town up here. That I mean, we're going to talk about that afterwards, folks.
That's
Yeah,
good.
well, this won't be in the show notes. Yeah, that's okay. But the idea here of think. I'm old enough now, and I've been in business long enough now to really appreciate that if something isn't fun, doesn't mean I'm jumping, flipping cartwheels and all kinds of other stuff. But if it's not fun, I probably am not going to do it. Yeah, I mean, life is just too short, and I don't care how much runway you've got in front of you. If it's not fun, why take that run at it? It's just kind of there's better things to do with my life's energy. How do you build And I'm assuming that there is some intentionality around this, but how do you build fun into these campaigns and fun into the interactive part of this?
That's a fun question. It is
No pun intended.
Yeah, no pun intended. It just came out. I actually do. I use the word fun often, and partners even will call that out. Like, you just have a lot of fun with this. And I say, what's not to like? We're, we run these crazy, bespoke, cool competitions with celebrities. We get to raise money for great causes. We're making a real, tangible impact, a positive impact in the world. What's not to like? It's fun. Plain my team just won. I've really got the best team in the world. I'm so lucky. It's a group full of marketers. Every person here has like creative ideas. They pop into my door now and then. It's like, hey, what do you think about this? It's amazing. My team just won a communicators award for a film that they just produced last year. It's called Face of Halloween. It's on YouTube. We ran a competition called Face of Halloween. It raised money for this Starlight Children's Foundation. It raised about $3 million last year, which is incredible. Jamie Lee Curtis was on board for it. It's Matthew Lillard, Kane Hodder. It's an incredible. It's for like Halloween and horror fans, and
Jamie Lee Curtis is perfect for that.
it was incredible. It was incredible. And my team thought, I mentioned earlier that the competitions are pretty long. It's 10 and a half weeks of active voting that our competitors go through to be champion. So we've got a lot of time to engage them, and my team has a lot of fun creating this content. And I kid you not, I mean, there's about 100 people who work here now, and about 30 of them participated in this production. They played characters, they have crazy makeup on, and it's this like kind of funny, weird horror movie that the team produced that airs the next killing every week throughout the competition, all to find out, who the murderer was at the end. And it was like the mascot, which was like this person, I don't even know where they got it, wearing this giant bird costume. Anyways, that's like a normal occurrence at this company, that they just produce this amazing content. I'm so proud that they just won this award. It's so well deserved, but they produce this amazing content and they do it for every competition. And so, yeah, I mean, it's fun. What's not to like?
It's fun. It was not to like. That's
Our attorney, our in-house counsel is like, in the movie, our in-house counsel plays the police officer, and he has like, I'll never forget it. I saw this first piece of content come out and I said, is that our attorney? It is. He's wearing a fake mustache and he sits down at his desk with like an NYPD mug and sets it down, and then he rips his mustache off and delivers the line. It's so funny. And I thought, where do you guys come up with this stuff? But that's a regular occurrence at the company. I think that when you're running, I truthfully I feel that all businesses need this level of creative infusion and outlet for people to perform well and enjoy what they're doing. But at a company like ours, where what we do is create marketing campaigns, fun is vital. It's vital.
it. Well, when we're able to tap into the soul of anything, that's where aliveness lives. And yeah, we have so many constraints in terms of what's appropriate, in terms of behavior, in terms of traditional fundraising, in terms of we've got to look good, and if it's not fun, again, why do it? And if we're looking at community building, this would be an interesting, kind of a little, let's lift the cover up on this. What do you find in terms of the efficacy of building community when you're doing these campaigns? Particularly if I've got a community, that quote unquote community, that has been of donors, that has been with us for 10, 12, 15 years. And they're pretty steady. I mean, they just, year after year, they re-up and that kind of stuff. But we've not necessarily curated real high contact with them. So it's, they know they are giving to this organization, but are they a part of this organization? Yeah, that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are part of it. Mhm.
Do these campaigns is part of the design to facilitate that belonging, that emotional connection.
Absolutely. And some campaigns are stronger than others in that way. Like our Face of Halloween crew, we're like family. There's like hundreds of thousands of them, but that's a cool group of folks. But absolutely it is. And we really try to center that typically around either or the cause
Hmm.
that they're raising money for, and we couldn't do it without them, and or the theme, right? So I'll give you another example. We run Supermom. It raises money for Children's Miracle Network hospitals.
Oh,
It's another
nice.
fan
Yeah,
favorite. I mean, it's just a beautiful cause. They do great work.
very
And
familiar with them.
they're good. And then Supermom is just an amazing campaign. Who doesn't want to celebrate the moms of the world? They're amazing angels. So I'm not a mom, so I'm
I read about it in a book.
I read about it in a book. My mom's an angel. Um, but that's another one where I feel like it's twofold. The moms who are participating and the people who are activating to support them in the competition are absolutely in support of Children's Miracle Network hospitals. They want to be part of that, and we want to give them an avenue to do that.
Yeah.
But they're also moms supporting moms and like-minded people who navigate the same everyday struggles and can find common ground and comment and joke to each other and build community. And so it's twofold there, right? Where it's just because of their common experiences that they can talk about and discuss as a community and as a group, they would be coming together anyways. We're just giving them the platform for it. And then on top of that, supporting a phenomenal cause that just makes sense for them. It's a pretty special formula.
It's unique.
Yeah.
It's a unique
Yeah,
formula.
it is unique.
Oh my gosh. Mary, I'm just, yeah, I don't think this is an exaggeration. I'm in awe of what it is that you're doing and what it is that you're facilitating through this mechanism. And I've been around, philanthropic organizations, charities and organizations and foundations and whatnot. I'm on a couple of different boards, and that fundraising conversation can be anything but fun. When we're sitting in the boardroom going, okay, looking at budgets, it's kind of like we got to do something here. We got to do something here, and it gets real serious. Who can we what who can we go to again that we've gone to before? And so donor fatigue starts to set in. This is a way that I honestly see this as a very interesting antidote to donor fatigue, and it's a very unique and innovative way of, I think, positioning, what is a component. It's a must-have in the philanthropic space. We've got to be able to raise money in order to do the work we're doing. And I like the idea that I don't have to spend $150,000 to put on a benefit. Yeah,
Exactly. That's one of the things, I'm grateful. I usually get to go and I attend a lot of the benefits and the galas now just to shake hands, and a lot of the partners we work with are there. And so it's a great opportunity to do that, show face. But I often ask the question, like, "Do you mind me asking what it took to put this on?" Just so I have a frame of reference for, what this looks like. And, often it's anywhere from 50 to 70% of what it brings in. And to me, that's just unacceptable. It takes what it takes, and you have to do it. And Colossal, sadly, today can't run a campaign for everybody, but we would.
yeah,
And my hope is that what we do at our business inspires other businesses to give a little bit more, because we do have the bandwidth to do that. As a for profit company, most of us can do more. And I don't expect everyone to give the way we give. We exist to do this. But I know there's room. I know there's room for it. And I would hope that one day our call to other for profit businesses to activate, so that the charitable partners are not spending just to go do the good work. I hope that that call gets heard, and I think it will over time.
yeah. I
I
think
think
it will too. Yeah, businesses that thrive have learned a lesson that nature taught me years ago. People that have listened to this show for some time, yeah, they've heard me say this a lot. Yeah, and there's nothing in nature that serves as a center of accumulation solely. Everything in nature serves as a center of distribution. So, finding ways to give things away. And I don't, tangible things, but also intangible things. Yeah, ideas, Just if you're serving as a center of distribution in life, internally and externally, you're going to find that your organization is going to thrive pretty well, I think. And I think you bring an opportunity for that to happen in both domains, profit and nonprofit. So, and again, my hat's off to you and your organization.
That's well said. That's well said. I'm going to borrow that.
Please do. Absolutely. I'm giving it freely. Where can people find out more about Colossal and about the work that you're doing? I know I mentioned it up
Colossal.org.
front, but let's land it.
Of course, colossal.org. That's the place. It's the best place to find us. We're on all social platforms. You can find those links in the footer of our website, but colossal.org, we house a lot of information. You can see current campaigns, current partners from there, and it's a
Yeah,
good resource to
you got
understand.
Johnny Depp up on the website right now.
We do. That's such a fun campaign. It's People's Artist, if anyone's curious. It's called People's Artist, and Johnny Depp is hosting, and it's as you can imagine, it's a lot of fun,
Yeah.
and it's very creative.
Yeah.
It's been phenomenal.
That's great. And it's COLOSSAL. So, when you go online, it's Colossal, spelled the way that I just described it, and this will be in the show notes, .org. Check it out, folks. Guest today, Mary Hagen. Mary, thank you so much. This has been an absolute delight and informative. I've greatly appreciated it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Absolutely. We'll see you next time. Take care. This episode is sponsored by the Soul of Business Experience, a leadership community with curated resources for entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and anyone intent on developing their leadership impact and supercharging their careers. For more information, check the podcast webpage or show notes. Hi, I'd like to ask you to do something for me if you wouldn't mind. If you like this episode, I'd like you to not only subscribe on your favorite site, but I'd also like you to give a rating. Ideally, a 5-star rating would be greatly appreciated. But I think more importantly also would be just some comments. That helps with the algorithm and it helps build the audience with this. And more than anything else, if you could invite somebody else to listen, just share this episode with a friend, with a colleague. And I'd like to see how we can grow the soul of business. I think it makes a difference. Thanks.